When it comes to talking about Christopher Nolan's movies, I definitely think that the Odyssey is definitely worth watching. Now, I do have some opinions on this film, not on Christopher Nolan's direction, because I definitely think all of his movies are masterpieces. Oppenheimer did well. Interstellar is still one of my favorite films. And Inception is an all-time classic. But right now, we got to talk about the Odyssey. The Odyssey is a very long movie, and it's definitely not for everyone. For me personally, I think that the Odyssey had great cinematography. I thought the acting was kind of dull, but I thought some actors actually knocked it out the park. Tom Holland, I thought his role was a bit strange. Not that big of a fan of Tom Holland's acting personally, but besides that, I thought he did pretty decent in this movie. Everyone else was great. I think Christopher Nolan could definitely make a 3 hour movie or a movie near 3 hours and make it entertaining and boring at the same time. But when it comes to this review, I don't know, it's kind of hard to put this movie in separate parts. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about my personal opinions on the characters first. Then I'm going to talk about whether this movie can stand the test of time and if Christopher Nolan is overrated or if he is the greatest movie creator of all time. So let's go and talk about the movie and its characters. Like I said, the way Nolan writes his characters, especially with The Dark Knight, following Bruce Wayne and the story, Nolan has the habit of telling his characters' backstories through flashbacks, kind of jumping back and forth when it comes to building up characters and how he presents those characters. Now, my main problem that Nolan, he does this with every film. We get introduced to the main character. They always have their backstory kind of spliced up in the movie, and you kind of have to put bits and pieces together. Because if you don't put those parts together in your mind while you're watching a movie, then you're not going to get it. That's what makes his films separate, something generic like the MCU. Like The Dark Knight is still one of my favorite films. The Dark Knight Rises, it's okay, but I thought that was one of his mediocre films. It wasn't bad, just not as good as an Inception or Interstellar or even an Oppenheimer. But once again, Nolan's direction when it comes to how he creates these characters and their backstories, their whole character arcs, the conclusions of the character arcs, that is what makes him stand out from like a generic MCU movie where it's just straightforward. But besides that, when it comes to the cinematography, I try not to dive into deep spoilers because I know a lot of people haven't seen this movie. But when it comes to the cinematography, this has to be one of Nolan's best films. And even the casting, I thought the casting was pretty good. I know there's a lot of controversies with some of the characters, but I didn't mind it. The cinematography, like I said, this is one of his best movies when it comes to the art style, the production, the monsters in the movie. If you haven't read the original Odyssey, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really recommend it. But if you want to, go ahead. But the movie, I think it does a pretty good job at getting its point across. But with that being said, is this movie worth watching? Yes, you definitely have to go see this movie. And with that being said, I think Nolan, this is just my opinion personally, he's the greatest film producer of our generation. I know a lot of people say he's overrated, but honestly, if I want to watch a movie, sit down and enjoy it, not a generic superhero movie, there's no DC, and Marvel's gonna keep rebooting their films over and over again. But Nolan, I think that he's definitely the go-to guy when it comes to original movies. And his legacy, it speaks for itself. But this movie is definitely a pass. I highly recommend it. But let me know what you think in the comments. I try not to make this review over 1 hour long, over 50 minutes. I like to make reviews quick. But with all of that being said, let me know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. This is me signing out.